What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here, and today we're going to talk about that Nintendo Direct because it has just concluded and my mind is completely blown. They had Metroid Prime 4 gameplay, a completely new Zelda game where you actually play as Zelda. They have Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is actually coming back to consoles. I mean, this was absolutely perfect, but I want to go through this and kind of talk about the games that to me look the best, and a lot of this stuff is also coming to PC and PS5, so I kind of just want to take a look at a bunch of it because honestly, I had very low expectations for this Nintendo Direct. I mean, it sounds like Nintendo is definitely preparing for the new Nintendo Switch console that's probably coming next year, so I kind of expected this to be a low-key sort of presentation, a chance for them to sort of say, hey, here's the final hurrah, our last games we've got in the back of the warehouse, but it was actually surprisingly mind-meltingly fantastic. But let me go through it. Hi, hope you're having a great day. If you could, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, I'm going to skip the stuff that personally did not really entice me, like some stuff like Funko Fusion, I don't care about. Luigi's Mansion 2, I do like this game, but I'm not going to buy the HD remake. This is the stuff that actually just completely got me, was the shockers. The closeout game, the ending of the presentation, was Metroid Prime 4, and it was more than just a logo or a CGI cutscene. They showed actual gameplay and said it is coming next year. So I think this is going to be like, Breath of the Wild, where that was the last game of the Wii U and a launch game for the Nintendo Switch. But I mean, honestly, the gameplay, I have to say, more than anything else, like, of course it's gorgeous. I'm glad it looks so good, but I have to admit that I am incredibly impressed that it still looks like Metroid Prime. It's still got that same, like, click to target aiming and really quick, fast, actiony, sliding around, puzzle solving, and combat kind of mechanic. This... Oh my god, I'll be honest, it's been like 7 years since we saw Metroid Prime 4, and even then it was just a logo. So the fact that we're finally going to get it, and the final title of it is Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. So we had Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, and now Beyond. Man, is this incredibly freaking cool. Now, of course, the other thing I gotta freak out about is that the Capcom Fighting Classic Collection. So this is coming to everything except Xbox. I am a huge Marvel vs. Capcom fan. I even have an actual Marvel vs. Capcom arcade cabinet in my house because I've played so much of Marvel vs. Capcom 2. This is a bunch of different games, though, from the originals to X-Men vs. Street Fighter. A lot of people forget this, but Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was technically like the fifth in the Marvel vs. Capcom series, but this is so freaking great. Got 7 games, online combat. Oh my god, you can even play the Punisher game, which is like a co-op beat 'em up. Very weird. Next up, here's another game that personally I'm super excited about before we start to go back to like Zelda and stuff. Fantasian. So this is a weird project that was made by the creator of Final Fantasy, Hironobu Sakaguchi. It's like a really cool RPG. Here, let me mute this so I don't get copyright struck. But it is like a very Final Fantasy-esque RPG, but this is something that he made that was originally an Apple exclusive. It was only on phones. Now we can actually play it on a console, and it's coming to everything. Coming out winter 2024. Personally, as a Final Fantasy fanatic, I am extremely excited about that. I've never played Fantasian, so it's cool to finally see like a lost Final Fantasy game of sorts coming out to consoles instead of just cell phones. Ace Attorney Collection. Heck yes. So obviously chat was freaking out. The Ace Attorney games are always incredibly fun. This also includes some games that only came out in Japan. So for Ace Attorney fans, this is a first chance to actually see a game where not only are we doing cases and stuff, in this one we get to go out and solve mysteries and investigate cases. Oh my gosh, they opened with a new Mario and Luigi game. So these are sort of like almost more RPG-esque. They've got different mechanics and leveling and puzzle solving. The fact that they're doing a new Mario and Luigi game is incredibly cool to me. I've played the Mario Luigi games, stuff like Bowser's Inside Story and Superstar Saga and all that. I like them. This is one of those games that I kind of want to see what other people say about that before I buy it, but it's very cool that it exists. I mean, it's great to think about the fact that Nintendo is still just doing weird stuff on top of their big stuff. I mean, you can insult Nintendo for a lot of reasons. You could say they're not doing enough with, just trying to push tech boundaries or whatever. But when it comes to the industry, Nintendo is not afraid to do stuff that isn't popular. They're willing to try stuff that, even if it doesn't sell 50 million copies like Call of Duty, they'll still give the developers another chance to iterate and evolve and try something new. Oh my gosh. Okay, so, oh my god, I'm so happy about this. So, Dragon Quest III HD do remake. So we heard about this a long time ago. The Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake. It's sort of like Octopath Traveler, where it's like little sprites in a big, beautiful, very well lit 3D world. Well, they're actually going to release it this year, even though we haven't heard about it in so long. The original Dragon Quest III is incredibly good. A lot of people think it's one of the best RPGs of that era, that like early 2D, 3D kind of era. But they also announced that when they get done with that, we're also going to get a full remake of Dragon Quest 1 and 2 in the same style. Now, these games are pretty short. At least they were back in the day on like Super Nintendo and original Nintendo and stuff. So I feel like it doesn't take that much work to actually get this going. But man, as a Dragon Quest fan, this is super interesting. Like, I've played a lot of Dragon Quest, but I haven't beaten all of them, so I'm curious to see if they add in side quests or funkiness or weird extra twists, because these games were already great, but man, do they look. I mean, just even giving them a fresh coat of paint is awesome. Next up, Metal Slug Attack Reloaded. This is a Metal Slug game that is apparently a tower defense game. I have a real soft spot for Metal Slug. I used to go to this like barbecue place like once every 2 or 3 months when I was a kid, Coulter's Barbecue, when I was growing up, and they had a Metal Slug arcade cabinet, and I'd only ever be able to afford like 1/4 per every 2 or 3 months, but I just thought it was the coolest thing in the world. The fact that they're still making like new Metal Slug games with that original awesome art, as a fan, definitely freaking makes me thrilled. Okay, this one I'll go over briefly. The Nintendo Switch expansion pack. So basically, if you're paying for the deluxe edition of Nintendo Switch Online, you get stuff like Game Boy Advance and Nintendo 64 games on top of the NES and SNES stuff. They announced that we're going to get Turok is coming to frickin' there. That's awesome. Perfect Dark, which is going to have online multiplayer. That is fantastic, but I have to admit, I'm almost most excited about Link to the Past 4 Swords, which is a multiplayer version of freaking Mortal Kombat. Why am I saying Mortal Kombat? A multiplayer version of A Link to the Past. Also, Metroid Zero Mission. Oh, man. Oh, my God. A new Mario Party, that's great. They said it's going to have 20-person online co-op, which I don't even know how the heck that's going to work, but it's like 4 players, same console. But let me talk about the final thing. The final part of it that I think is, it's so different. I think I'm a little hesitant because I want to see fully how it plays, but this is a new Legend of Zelda game where Link gets sucked into like this dark portal and now Zelda is the protagonist. It's a top-down perspective. Now, I know a lot of people are obsessed with games like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. One of my favorite Zeldas of all time has always been A Link to the Past. This is actually the first Zelda that I ever beat, so when they did the remake, it had this exact art style, and personally, as a Link's Awakening fanatic, I think it's cool they're bringing back this art style, this top-down, but instead of having a sword, they said specifically, you didn't just want to be like Link, but Zelda playing as Link. They're like, okay, we want to do something different. So it's very puzzle focused. You're able to just copy an item, an object, or a monster. So you can copy a table to make a platform, copy like a bridge or a water block to swim up a wall or something like that. But they said you can also capture monsters. So you can like defeat like a bogoblin or something, create a copy of it, and then have it fight as your own minion army. This is super different, and I think I like the idea where it's called Echoes of Wisdom, so it makes sense because obviously Zelda, each of them, there's Ganon is the Triforce of Power, obviously Link is the Triforce piece of Courage, and she is of Wisdom, so having her have a puzzle-focused gameplay makes sense. She is the aspect of Wisdom, but I still want to see how it plays, because sometimes games that are purely puzzle focused, especially if they're like 20 or 30 hours long, sometimes you just want to punch somebody. But these have just been some off the cuff thoughts. What did you guys think about that Nintendo Direct? Personally, as a person that went in with expectations down here, holy heck, did I love it. But thank you for watching. Please like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. And please keep dreaming. Oh my god, I had to get up super early for this, but definitely worth it. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.